This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famer Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weights. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
the Jason Walker Show, broadcasting from the Major Mortgage Man Cave. Here's Jason Walker.
Yo, happy Wednesday. It is the Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center, your one-stop shop. If you've been in an accident, Montana law says it's your choice where you have your vehicle repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center. Here inside the Major Mortgage Man Cave today, and had a great day of golfing. 27 holes with JR from Major Mortgage. If you are looking to refinance or get a home, give JR McFadden a call. Major Mortgage, okay? Big show on today. We are going to chat with Tim McMahon, the Helen Activities Director, here in about 15 minutes or so. Will there be JV soccer today in the Queen City because of the smoky conditions? Also, the spectator plan has changed, which we're going to talk about in a second, but I want to get Tim McMahon's thoughts. And a little bit later on in the show today, we're going to talk to Samantha Cassidy. She is an author and a nutritionist, dietitian, and she's going to talk about sugar. She's got a new book out called Sugar Shock, and she's going to talk about hidden sugars and how you can lose that COVID-15, the quarantine, whatever you want to call it. How do you get the sugars out? Spoiler alert, a lot of it is what we already know about as far as health. But it's crazy when you think about how much sugar is in stuff. So we'll talk to Samantha Cassidy about that. And we have On This Day in History coming up. We start with our daily COVID update here on a Wednesday. And you can watch The Jason Walker Show live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter as well. Listen to it on Podbean, Network One Sports. And if you miss anything, jasonwalkershow.com. All right, so we have 190 new cases reported today. 9,431 total confirmed cases since March. 141 total deaths. 106 currently in the hospital, and that keeps dropping, which is great news. 2,104 active cases, however, and 7,186 have recovered. There are 752 in Yellowstone County active, 365 Rosebud, 120 Bighorn, 223 in Cascade, 134 in the Flathead, 69 Missoula, 16 Lewis and Clark, 34 Gallatin. 54 active cases, Deer Lodge County, 51 in Silverbow, and 48 in Roosevelt County. Big numbers across the state in multitude. There's 13 in Park County active, 11 in Stillwater. And there you go. 19 up in Hill County, 28 in Glacier. So, and 46 in Lake County. That number keeps going up. But stay safe. That's all we can say, right? Stay safe. Jason Walker Show is brought to you by Capital Collision Center. And earlier today, so Monday, we talked about the governor's family causing an issue. Going to a volleyball match, the First Lady, Lisa Bullock, went with her mom to a volleyball match to watch her daughter. Well, the passes are not transferable. That you get two passes per uniformed athlete, right? So they broke the rule. And the First Lady came out and said that she misunderstood. and apologized for her misunderstanding. Well, I don't buy that. The rule had been out for a couple of weeks. Like, everybody knew this. Okay? Everybody knew this. And for the governor's family to come out and say, oh, we misunderstood. No. I mean, it's not a viable excuse. So today, Helena Public Schools came out with a statement. And after revisiting their plans, the following changes to the Lewis and Clark County Health Department approved spectator plan have been made. Beginning with today's crosstown JV soccer matches, all in-town participants will continue to be provided with 2 spectator passes. That stays the same. However, those 2 passes will now be transferable to any immediate family member, including parents, step-parents, siblings, etc. So because the governor's family broke the rule, now we've got to change the rule for everybody else. And do as I say, not as I do, right? It was, like I asked, was it a setup? No. Is the governor's family claiming that they were set up like Nancy Pelosi's hairdresser said, whatever. It's not a viable excuse for the governor's family to break the rule, but now the rule has changed so that, and I'm not disagreeing with this. I mean, I think it's good that a grandparent can go or a sibling can go. We have neighbors just in our backyard. Well, not in our backyard, but across our backyard. Her daughter plays volleyball, is a senior this year, and her brother can't go to the volleyball matches. But now he can, if one of the parents can go. So that's good. But it took the governor's family breaking the rule for the rule to get changed. Here's the big change. Helena Public Schools will make available visiting pass, not plural, one spectator pass for each visiting participant. That is to ensure that Helena Public Schools remains at or below the 250 total spectator limit. Pass list needs to be provided by the visiting team prior to any admission. We'll talk to Tim McMahon about that coming up here in a few minutes, but 1 spectator pass. Now, other schools, other cities in the AA are allowing 2 spectators to go. Helena's allowing 1. But the biggest news is, and that's great news, the visiting family can come. And we talked about this at the outset a month or so ago, that, if you're a parent, you get to go watch your kid play now. I mean, what if there's an accident? What if there's an injury? Now, you're there for your child on a road trip, which is good. But because the governor's family broke the rule on Saturday, and a couple others, there were 3 to 4 violations. We'll talk to Tim McMahon, but hey, let's change the rule for everybody now, because the governor's family thinks that, they can do whatever. So, and if Governor Bullock wants to come on the show and just debate it, then bring it on. Bring him on. I've reached out multiple times. They're afraid to come on this show. So that's on them, not me. Let's see. We did get a new Treasure State media poll came out, of which I am a part of voting and proud to be a part of voting for this. The second year, it's done by Anthony Knockreiner, a good friend up in the Flathead. He works at KGEZ Radio. But here's your number 1 team in Class AA: Sentinel, West, Glacier. 3-2-1. Number 1 is Sentinel with 22 first place votes. West, 4 first place votes in second. Senior is in third with 2 first place votes. This is voted on by media members from across the state. Glacier and Helena round out the top 5. Also receiving votes, Great Falls High, Bozeman, which got pounded by Senior, Big Sky, Capital, and Butte. let's not throw in teams that lost into receiving votes. My AA, I had Sentinel, West, Glacier, Senior, Helena High. So I had the same top 5, just in a couple of them in different orders. All right. Class A, Miles City, the defending state champs, number 1. Hamilton 2, Dillon 3. Hamilton-Dillon played this weekend. That game has been moved to Saturday night because of smoke. Laurel and then Billings Central round out the top 5 in Class A. My top 5, Miles City, Hamilton, Dillon, Laurel, Libby. So I missed out. I've got Libby instead of Billings Central. Libby received 14 votes. Class B, number 1 is Manhattan with 9 first-place votes. Fairfield, also 9 first-place votes, received 84 total points, 8 behind the Tigers. They are in second. Big Fork 3, Glasgow, then Florence. Townsend just outside the top 5. My Class B, Manhattan, Fairfield, Glasgow, Big Fork, Florence. So in order. Class C 8-man, you've got Fort Benton, Fairview, Flint Creek, Thompson Falls, and Joliet. My 8-man, Fort Benton, Thompson Falls, Belt, Flint Creek, Fairview. Belt and Thompson Falls. Is it Thompson Falls and Belt play this weekend, or Fort Benton and Belt? It's going to be a heck of a matchup. And then 6-man, you've got Big Sandy, Hot Springs, Ritchie Lambert, Shields Valley, and Webo. My 6-man, Big Sandy, Hot Springs, Ritchie Lambert, Floyd Lake, and Shields Valley. So that is my top 5, along with the top 5 from the rest of the media. And there are about 30 of us that vote from across the state in media. Some great voters, great people, and some people that really shouldn't have any say in voting or what's going on across the state. But some great media members, and then some that are not in media that are, anyway. So let's see, does he vote? He does not. Okay, good. Doug. All right, Jason Walker Show, continuing. Big Ten announced today that they're planning on playing football starting in October. TikTok Pac-12, you're next. The Big Ten said they're coming out because medical people said, let's go ahead and play. So they're going to start in October. Mainly because Ohio State thinks they have a chance to get into the college football playoff and compete for national championship. You don't. But I digress. All right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, by the way, tomorrow we will talk with Nicole Rigoni from the Pac-12 Network and get her thoughts on if the Pac-12 is coming back. Christine Brennan from USA Today, normally a great writer, but she tweeted out today, I'm talking about the Big Ten, quote, note the date, 9/16/20, the day the vaunted Big Ten became the SEC. It choked, it got scared, it sold its soul for football. My column on the darkest day in Big Ten history, end quote. That's what Christine Brennan said from USA Today, the darkest day in Big Ten history. Do you remember a guy by the name of Jerry Sandusky? How about the guy Larry Nassar? Those two guys caused a lot of issues for a lot of people, boys and girls alike. Jerry Sandusky at Penn State, we know what he did with little boys. Larry Nassar, U.S. Olympic team, Michigan State, we know what he did with little girls. Let's not call the fact that the Big Ten decided to play football the darkest day in Big Ten history. Like, seriously. Good Lord. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Tim McMahon will join us, the Helena Schools Activities Director. Why the change now that, why our pass is transferable? Was it because the governor's family decided they were above the rule? And so now the rule has to be changed for everybody. And that 250 limit for spectators, does that include the cheerleaders, which deserve to be at games? I know they were at Helena High. Capital will break out cheerleaders this weekend. And that is a good thing. Cheerleaders deserve to be there. And dance team. We'll talk to Tim McMahon when we come back next here on the Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, go to Capital Collision Center on Euclid.
Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender. Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show. Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $289. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn.
Themselves. But it was the personal connection for Capital Collision Center that I love. Now, we're talking text messages every couple of days that say, here's where we're at, here's what we've done, here's what's next. The phone calls, just the customer service, impeccable and unmatched at Capital Collision Center. Coming up, we're going to talk to Samantha Cassidy. She's going to tell you how to lose weight during COVID with sugars and what to look for, the hidden sugars. And also on this day in history coming up as well. This segment brought to you by Rucker's Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena. All right, so Helena Public Schools came out today and said, hey, we're going to change things because, well, the governor's family broke the rule, so now everybody gets to go because the rule has to be changed. Non-transferable passes are now transferable. So thanks to the governor's family for getting more people in. I say that it's we're thanking them, but it's because they broke the rule. Like, the rule was there, and then they broke it. But anyway, Here to talk about the change in spectator plans, including letting one visiting fan come in to watch sporting events, is the activities director at Helena Public Schools. His name is Tim McMahon. He joins us now here on the Jason Walker Show, thanks to the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. Well, I appreciate you joining me on such short notice, but first off, they're playing JV today, correct?
Correct. We're playing JV soccer out at Siebel Fields.
And take me through the process of how you decide whether it's safe or not. Because I know yesterday it wasn't safe, and today it seems to be a little bit better.
It's a little bit better. We use a couple of different websites and apps that I use for air quality. The first and foremost is the one from the County Health Department. It's actually a DEQ website.
Okay.
And it gives us readings of how much smoke or pollutants are in the air. There's also a memo or handout that came from Montana High School Association that tells us, given the different levels, what we can and cannot do. Then the other thing I look at always is trends. Is it going up? Is it going down? Is it staying relatively stable? And then guidance from County Health. I was on the phone with them a couple of days ago for probably 15 or 20 minutes, getting guidance around, if it's in this area, these are the things you can do. Yesterday was a unique situation where we have an out-of-town team traveling. They would have been leaving about 11:30, and visiting with their AD, it was, you're headed over here, and I think by 3 it might be okay, but I don't know.
Right.
And as it turned out, could we have played? Probably. It was in the red. You're getting into the point where you really want to be careful, but we didn't know. We didn't know where this was going to end.
Tim McMahon joining us here, Jason Walker Show. We're used to smoke. We're used to bad roads. We're used to bad weather. We're used to cancellations, postponements, not knowing because of this. We have obviously the different circumstance with COVID thrown in. This is a challenging year. I've talked to you about this before. I can't imagine being in your shoes right now.
It is pretty challenging right now, and it's challenging on multiple fronts. You're trying to ensure the kids and coaches are as healthy as possible. I think in the Helena School District, I think across school districts across the state, we're all going to focus on trying to keep kids as healthy as we can and be as safe with them as we can. But it does add another layer to it where we're looking at some cancellations may never get made back up because we've already moved contests and we're just running out of open dates. So it's very challenging.
Tim McMahon, the Helena Schools Activities Director, our guest here, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. One of the challenges has been the spectator plan. Originally, no spectators were allowed. Then it was changed just last week to allow two tickets per individual that suited up. We had some issues over the weekend, and now all of a sudden that has changed where the passes are now transferable. What went into that decision? Because I'll be 100% honest. I was very hard on the first family because of last week. I know there were 3 or 4 other violations as well, but what went into changing the spectator plan?
Well, the first original plan that was written and completed was actually a couple of weeks ago. I want to say it'll be 2 weeks ago tomorrow, where it was first approved and put into place. And pretty quickly, I could see that we may have a problem with this. And specifically with not the 2 passes. I still think that's the right move, given the 250 total spectator limit that we operate under. But pretty quickly, I had situations where moms or dads or somebody was calling me saying, I can't leave this child at home. Dad's not coming to the game. Can I bring this one? Can we do this? On paper, looked like a great plan. But the reality is that it was really, really hard to manage it in the sense of who's with which pass and where do we land on all of these. We did have some incidents over the weekend. Those aren't the only ones I had. I had them the first day. And I think the big piece for us is, or for me at least, it was educate where I need to educate. If it's a blatant, just real bad violation of I'm just not wearing a mask, I will not do it. I will not socially distance. That's different. As I say to parents all the time, I'm willing to do whatever I got to do to get your kids to play the games.
Right.
And these are 2 things I'm just asking you to give me that much. Just don't impact the game.
And then, of course, with the transfer of the pass, which came up over the weekend, which I mentioned. That's been changed now to where those 2 passes can go to any immediate family member, parents, grandparents, it seems like, siblings, step-parents. And the step-parents I get because there's a lot of, divorced families in the Helena area and across the state, let's be honest. So that makes a lot of sense to me as well. If, you've got a remarriage in there as well. But this is like I said, I can't imagine being in your shoes. I don't want to be in your shoes. But I think this is a good call to change it. Overall, I agree with it.
I think like everything we do in schools, at least we better be doing in schools, and to be quite honest, probably everything we do in society right now. We make plans, and we make the best possible plan we can at that moment with the information we have. And then you better reevaluate. You better constantly be looking at a plan and saying, what can we do to make this better? What can we do to make it more effective? Both in a mindset of doing all we can to keep people safe, but also in a mindset of not everything you do the first time is right. And none of us have done this. There is no handbook. There is no do it this way. And I'd love to tell you that everything I've written in the last 5 months has been perfect. I've made a lot of decisions. Some of those decisions have been right on, and some of those decisions have not been good. It's not out of lack of effort. It's, to be quite honest, people make mistakes sometimes. The other big change we have with our spectator plan is we are going to allow some out-of-town visitors. My plan is different than everyone else's across the state. I think every AA school went to 2 out of town. I don't have that number of tickets left. By the time I'm done with in town, I have about 70 seats, and so we're going to allow 1 out-of-town spectator for every participant from an incoming team. And I think that's still the right move. I still think it's right to try and get a parent into the stands. If something happened to my child, yes, I would want at least the opportunity to be there in case of an injury. I also want to be there and watch my own kid play.
Mm-hmm. I think we saw this coming, Yellowstone County, which is still the hotbed for COVID, but they're allowing out-of-town fans. Bozeman then last week as well. Do you feel pressure, or did you feel pressure from other AA schools and other communities to change it? Or is this just, hey, we're focused on Helena and Helena only?
I didn't personally. I mean, that's not to say I didn't get a lot of feedback.
Right.
It's to say that I didn't feel a lot of pressure to do anything different. I think our district was pretty committed to taking a thoughtful approach to this. I know our superintendent has been, and I know I have been, that we're going to go a step at a time, and we're going to make sure we have the right things in the right order. And the right order was get kids playing and make sure they can compete. That's one. Number 2, get parents from in town or fans from in town in. I do believe the next step is try to get at least somebody from out of town for every child participating, if that person chooses to come. So I realized a week ago, everybody kind of folded up all at once and said, we're all going to do it. Helena did not. And I think that was largely, we just didn't feel like we were ready yet. And then the other reality issue to it is I have 70 tickets, and I have folks who are demanding more in-town spectators and folks demanding out-of-town spectators. With only 70 seats, you can't do both.
Right.
And so we had to make a pretty concerted decision and pretty well thought out. This is why we think we should go this route. I believe that the superintendent supports that decision in the end, and I believe the school board does. And I mean, I'm the guy who's running it, and I certainly believe this is the right thing to do, or I wouldn't have done it.
Tim McMahon, our guest here, Jason Walker Show. A couple final quick ones. But when you talk about the 250 spectator limit and you talk about 70 tickets, that is, I'm not a mathematician, but what is that, 180 local people that are in attendance. One thing Helena's doing a little different than some of the other communities is allowing cheerleaders. And I love that idea from day one, because cheerleaders are a part of sports and athletics, and they need to be there as well as their parents. So when people say, well, if there's 60 players on a football team from each team, that's only 120 parents. But then when you add in cheerleaders, which you're doing, obviously that number changes a little bit. You are allowing bands. I did not know the bands were there.
Or not band, I dance.
Oh, dance. Cheer and dance. Okay.
And we're moving towards the band as soon as we can. Part of it with the band is as they're working through in their classrooms, how do you blow an instrument that actually contains a spit valve. That's part of the instrument. And as we fix those, then then I guess I look at it and would tell anybody, I don't care if it's a soccer player, a cheerleader, a football player, a wrestler. None of it matters to me what you play. What I believe is if it's important to you, then we ought to do all we can to get you included. And yes, we should include cheerleaders. We should include the dance teams. We should get anybody that we can safely do this with participating as much as we possibly can.
Are bands more than student? The student that just want to go to a game?
General student entry?
Yeah.
I mean, I personally believe, well, I not personally believe, I think it's pretty obvious. General student entry, I think sporting events in Helena is the ways out. Right now, as we've already talked about, I am at the cap for what I can allow for spectators. I'm there. And so that's going to be one of those things that I can't add a lot more to the spectator list until we as a county say, okay, our numbers are good enough and we're doing okay, and now we can look at this number. And again, I think it's a lot of people spending a lot of time trying to decide what's the safe path forward.
Final question, media-wise, yes, I know that you guys are going home radio first, which is great. Yep. Obviously, I don't work there anymore, but are the visiting radio allowed to come as long as they set up safely somewhere else and not in the press box? Or is it because? Go ahead.
I had Butte there last weekend at the varsity football game. Butte came and broadcast.
Okay.
They actually set their stuff up across the field in the visiting team grandstand, right in the grandstand.
Oh, okay.
Because there wasn't anybody else there. We do have the little press box that's across the stadium at Vigilante that we could use if need be in our gyms. What we're trying to do is keep pods, if you will. People from Helena sit on one side. People from the incoming community will now completely sit on the other side. I won't put a incoming radio broadcast team sitting, say, at the scorer's table where they're going to be mixing with others who are from Helena. That's one of the things we've been trying to do is across the state is we try to keep those pods separate.
Well, I think keeping the radio pods separate should have been in place long before COVID. I mean, we don't want to sit next to people from any other school, right?
Just for clarification, Tim McMahon did not say that.
No, Jason Walker did. No. Jason Walker did.
Hey, I work with everybody.
Exactly. And I don't. So it doesn't. If you kicked out all of radio, that would be fun. You know what you should do is just have me come in and do all the Helena High and Capital games, and then don't have any radio, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Not sure I'm going there either.
You're going to plead the fifth on that one, too. I like it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why you're the greatest. Tim McMahon joining us. I know you got to run. I appreciate it on short notice, but have fun at Crosstown JV today, varsity tomorrow, and take care.
Thank you very much, and you take care, too. Bye-bye.
That is Tim McMahon joining us, the Helena Schools Activities Director here on the Jason Walker Show on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. So some clarification on a couple of things. As the interview is wrapping up, I got a couple of great messages on Facebook from some parents, or one parent that would have been a great question to ask had I even thought about it, and maybe I wish I had thought about it. Anyway, let's see, what was the question? Will you wow, 3, 2, 1. Try not to golf 27 holes before you come do a radio show. Not even radio, podcast. Are all JV and varsity kids allowed to dress out? Doubtful, Jamie, doubtful, because it goes back to the numbers. Now, most of the JV kids will not play in the varsity game, so that's why a lot of times you're going to have the JV game early or first, and then they clear out the stands to bring in the varsity parents, because a lot of those kids are not going to play that varsity night. So, and I get it, they're all together on the same team, but with the numbers, it's hard. And hopefully that changes soon. We're still in phase 2 of the governor's, but we have no idea when we're going into phase 3. I don't think the governor has an idea. I mean, they think it's okay. Well, last week it was okay to, just transfer passes and break rules, but hey, What do I know? I'm just a podcast guy. I'm not the governor of Montana. Maybe I should run sometime. Maybe I'll start with the city. We'll start with some like commissionership or whatever. I know we Monday gave out our Auto Concepts Performance of the Week, but I wanted to talk about Auto Concepts for a second. You need to get there because we don't know what's going on. And we don't know when we get to phase 3. But here's the deal. We do know that we get a hunting season. And you need to get a winch. Okay? Front, back, hell, get both. Get one on the front, get one on the back. Hell, get one on each side. Get 4 winches. Why not? You also need to get a lift kit if you're thinking about it. And Auto Concepts is the place to go. Now, here's a great story. I've talked about this before. I have the bed rug in my truck. And it's better than the spray-on stuff, and which Auto Concepts does. But the bed rug itself, beautiful. You can crawl around. You're not going to rack your knees on the grooves. You could sleep on the bed rug. Fantastic stuff. And I had to fill up my gas can for my lawnmower the other day, and some of it spilled on the bed rug. Well, here's the cool thing. You get the bed rug from Auto Concepts, it's washable. You can wash out the smell. You can wash off the gas. You can wash off the blood from your animal that you get this summer or this winter or this fall, whatever. And I mean, you know what I'm saying? The bed rug is awesome. And they have the tonneau covers. The hard ones are the best. The tri-fold hardcover. Oh, love it, love it. Get to Auto Concepts. Go make an appointment. Go see Sherry. Tell her you're a Bobcat fan, and she'll hook you up. She's a Grizz fan, so you got to give her a hard time about being a Grizz fan. But I highly recommend Auto Concepts. I recommend all of our great sponsors. And if you want to see all of our great sponsors, go on to jasonwalkershow.com, and you can see all of our great sponsors here of the show. If you would like to become a sponsor of the show, just get a hold of me. Facebook, message me, email. Renee, I appreciate it. Got her vote if I run for, is that anything I run for, Renee? Like city commissioner, mayor, governor, senator? Renee, I appreciate you. I have her vote. I got 1 vote. It's got to be better than what we got right now, right? In a lot of offices. All right, we're gonna take a break. When we come back here, Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center. We are going to chat sugars. Now, a lot of us, since March, because we were quarantined in our house, we were locked, the lockdown, we were all over, all sorts of things. We put on the quarantine or the COVID-15. It's like freshman year at college, right? The freshman 15, but it's the COVID-15 or the quarantine. A lot of that is due to cravings. A lot of that is due to sugars. A lot of that is due to a lot of things. And there's a new book out called Sugar Shock. And it's written in part by Samantha Cassidy. And when we return, she's going to tell you about those hidden sugars. Like, for instance, did you know the Pure Leaf tea in the bottles, the Pure Leaf tea, has as much sugars as a Dairy Queen peanut butter parfait? Think about that. Find those hidden sugars. There's over 50 of them on the labels. We'll talk about it when we come back here. Jason Walker Show, Major Mortgage Man Cave. And you're going to want to hear this. It's interesting. Jason Walker Show coming right back, presented by Capital Collision Center. This last segment brought to you by Rucker's Furniture.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, go to Capital Collision Center on Euclid.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back. Jason Walker Show. This segment brought to you by Mark LaRoe Photography. Get your senior family portrait package purchased. Get it booked with Mark LaRoe Photography and get free 8x10 canvas or matte print. By the way, if you purchase anything from Mark LaRoe at spiritofthebigSkyGallery.com, 20% off by mentioning the Jason Walker Show. You are looking live at South Beach, bringing the heat, Miami. Our thoughts, by the way, with those on the Gulf Coast. Lots of flooding after Hurricane Sally came through made landfall last night. And it's going to be a slow-moving storm, so lots and lots of flooding. But South Beach looking pretty chill. There you go. Thanks to EarthCam. Still to come on this day in history. Also, this is, sometimes I wish I had a co-host, and then sometimes I'm glad I don't. We're going to show you why. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a dude that I used to work with who's, he quit midway through a show once. Midway through the year. Like made it through a half a show or half a series, a season of shows, and then just quit. So that we're going to show you something about radio guys that sometimes argue. It's not always pretty in media, and we'll show you something here in a little bit. But I want to get to our next guest on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. Did you know that one of those specialized drinks at a coffee shop has more sugar than eight Reese's peanut butter cups? Did you know that? Still doesn't mean you should go eat a bunch of Reese's peanut butter cups, but when you're looking to lose weight, sugar, cut it out of your diet. That's one of the biggest things. And that is what Samantha Cassidy will tell us. She is not a doctor, but she is a nutritionist. Has a new book called Sugar Shock, and it is out now in stores, came out yesterday, and she joins us now here on the Jason Walker Show. Well, I appreciate you joining us. And I was reading through the press release, and there's a lot. We were talking about sugar here, and I didn't realize how much sugar is in stuff that you don't even think about. It's crazy when you think about it.
I think that's right. So sugar is in about 85% of packaged foods.
I like cereal, and a lot of people do in America, more than 280 million Americans. And that's actually really a bad thing. We need to cut out our cereal, it looks like.
Well, so I wouldn't call cereal a bad thing, but it can be really variable. So cereal can be very, very sugary. It can have more than 3 teaspoons of added sugar, and even some of the healthier seeming ones. So, for example, if you have dried fruit in your cereal, it might be coated with added sugar. So you really need to pay attention to labels here. And if you are eating a sweetened cereal, then you can try mixing it with an unsweetened one, and that alone will help you really drastically cut the sugar, because you're going to cut it in half by just doing a 50-50 mix of your maybe favorite sweetened cereal with a regular cereal. And I do want to point out that the reason to do this isn't just to cut back on added sugar, but it's really because added sugar is driving these health problems, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, obesity, that damage our immune system. And so it's especially relevant right now.
Samantha Cassidy joining us here on the Cassidy, on the Jason Walker Show. Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. This was interesting too, Samantha, was food labels. And there's a lot of hidden sugars that we don't necessarily see when we're looking at the labels of food. Take me through this.
Yeah, so there are 50 different names for added sugar on a food label. Luckily, the newest update to the food label this year distinguishes between added sugar and natural sugar. So you can see on the food label, there's a total sugar line, and then there is an added sugar line. And it's the added sugars that you really want to pay attention to. And in Sugar Shock, it's all about finding brands and products that really help set you up for success. So for example, I do recommend these Lily's no added sugar chocolates, so that you can enjoy chocolate chips and chocolate without all the added sugar.
Samantha Cassidy, our guest here, Jason Walker Show. Take me through the 7-day sugar tracker, and then you can go even further with a 21-day challenge.
Well, so the 7-day sugar tracker is really to pinpoint where sugar is showing up in your life in a very big way. So, for example, if you're stopping at the coffee shop every morning and you're picking up one of those specialty coffee drinks, that might be the really great place to cut back. And so then you would get one of those SWOT suggestions in the book. But then we also have a 21-day meal plan that really is going to help you dial down your sweet tooth. So we're going to fill you up on more nutritious foods that will be better for you and make you feel better without all the added sugar. So it's really, the whole book is like your roadmap to breaking up with added sugar.
The book is called Sugar Shock, and you talk about cravings, and when I talk to experts like yourself, the craving deal is a big thing, and especially late at night. I like to have, Reese's peanut butter cups, and I have like 2 or 4 sometimes, and with milk. There's a lot of sugar there, but what I found, according to your book, was that's actually a little bit better than, like you just mentioned, those specialty coffee drinks.
It is, but I don't think you're in an either or situation. So then again, I might say, instead of that Reese's, that would be a good place for those Lily's chocolates, because if that's something that you enjoy every night, Sugar Shock isn't about robbing your enjoyment of foods or even sweeter foods. It's really about learning how to identify where they're showing up in your life, learning how to find healthier replacements, and learning how to eat with more intention and knowledge, so that when you're eating something that it does have a lot of added sugar, or that you've been able to find a healthier substitute.
The body benefits on page 81 of this book, Sugar Shock. Your heart is going to be more healthier. Your face is going to be healthier. I mean, there's a lot of different great things if you cut down and cut back a little bit on your sugar. Is that correct?
Yeah, so sugar really plays a role in driving type 2 diabetes, heart disease, mood disorders like depression. It's related to acne and skin problems. So when you do cut back, you will notice that you will start to feel better. You will feel more focused. You will have more energy. You will have less bloat. So I think sometimes people who are used to eating, you know, all these processed foods that are super, super convenient. So I totally get why we're all embracing them. But you don't really realize how crummy you feel until you start, you know, replacing those foods with healthier options. And that's really what Sugar Shock is going to be all about. It's going to help you with the meal plan and all the tools and swaps that you need so that you're eating enjoyable foods and you feel great and healthy and happy.
Samantha Cassidy joining us here, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. One thing on in your book too, and this is just common sense, and it seems like we need reinforcement from your book about this as well, just in every life. Don't skip meals. Breakfast is your most important day. Stay hydrated, get sleep, and then that helps take away those sugar cravings too.
That's right. So what I see a lot is that people will skip breakfast or eat a super light breakfast, and that's actually going to make your cravings worse. So it's really important to start off the day with something that has some protein. So for example, some Greek yogurt or cottage cheese, something like eggs. Those are some good options. And then, you know, sleep, if you are skimping on sleep, so not getting at least 7 to 9 or in the 7 to 9 hour window, that can influence your cravings. So the book is really holistic, you know, in terms of identifying all the things that you can do to support your lower sugar journey, and you will surely come out of this healthier.
Samantha Cassidy joining us. The book is called Sugar Shock. You mentioned in the book too, and one thing that people always, it seems like we've forgotten, those energy drinks that we like to have in the afternoon to pump us up or give us a little bit of lift in that midday. That crash is huge when you come off of those, and those are dangerous.
They are. So that is a sugar-caffeine combo that's especially tricky. So the one thing I would say also is that people associate sugar with a rush or a high, but that is a total net. In studies that look at giving people sugar and then rating how they feel, they find that people feel less focused, you have less attention, and you feel more fatigued. So you really feel crummy after eating sugar. And as you point out, you know, those afternoon drinks aren't really the best choice. So if you have that afternoon slump, you want to pick something that's going to give you steady energy so that you can feel focused and good throughout your afternoon.
Well, the book is called Sugar Shock. You're going to get your sugar score. You're going to learn how to go clean and go lean, meal plan, and smart sugar swap. The author is Samantha Cassidy along with Carol Prager. But Samantha, we appreciate you joining us. And this is enlightening. And good luck with the book, and take care.
Thank you so much for having me, and I wish you continued good health.
Samantha Cassidy joining us. The book Sugar Shock, and was in stores yesterday. You can go purchase it. You can go read it. It's very interesting how much the sugars, like she talked about, and we've all done it. We're all guilty of it. But go check it out. Just saw this. This just came out. The FCS Championship will be conducted from April 18th through May 15th next year. 16 teams instead of 24. Fall competitions will be considered when determining the field for the spring championship. The framework must be approved by the D1 Board of Directors, which meets next week, but it looks like now we have a date for FCS, so we can start working backwards to when the season is going to start, which means you're looking in Montana, all of the Big Sky Conference, but especially in Montana in February, which is preseason practices starting in January. Big, that's a storyline to keep an eye on. FCS. We don't know when the Frontier is going to start yet. We know that the Big Ten is going to start in October after changing and reversing direction. Nicole Rigoni will join us tomorrow for That's What She Said, brought to you by Dinner's Done Right. She will join us and talk about that. We'll recap our NFL picks tomorrow as well. And also look ahead, is the Pac-12 going to reconsider what it wants to do with football? Probably not. But they are a follower, so maybe. Who knows? All right, let's get to on this day in history. It is September the 16th, 2020, National Guacamole Day. It is Mayflower Day, Cinnamon Raisin Bread Day. Cinnamon sounds good. Cinnamon bread is good. The raisin part, I like raisins, just not in my bread or muffins or any of that. It is Play-Doh Day. I do like my raisins in my Play-Doh, though. When I'm eating Play-Doh, I like raisins in that. Step Family Day and Working Parents Day. 1864, British Open. Tom Morris Sr. won his third title. 1869, British Open, also at Prestwick Golf Course. 18 years old, Tom Morris Jr. goes back-to-back, wins by 11 strokes. In 1937, the Redskins NFL franchise play first game in Washington at Griffith Stadium, beating the Giants of New York. 1951, U.S. Women's Open. Betsy Rawls won her first of 8 majors. 1960, Warren Spahn of the Milwaukee Braves with a no-hitter against Philadelphia. 1965, Red Sox pitcher Dave Moorhead no-hit Cleveland. 1973, O.J. Simpson of Buffalo rushes for a then NFL record 250 yards in a win at New England. 21 years later, he decided to run from the cops. 1988, Tom Browning of Cincinnati with a perfect game. By the way, do you think O.J. did it? Just a question. 1934, happy birthday, Elgin Baylor, 11-time NBA All-Star and Hall of Famer. 1942, Dennis Conner was born, the American sailor, 4-time America's Cup skipper that won 74, 80, 87, 88. Also an Olympic bronze medalist in 76. 1875, James Cash Penney was born in Missouri, the founder of J.C. Penney. And on this date in 1925, B.B. King was born in Mississippi. And one death on this date, 1914, James Edward Sullivan, the founder of the Amateur Athletic Union, also known as the AAU, which really isn't so amateur nowadays, is it?
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
I love our fans of this show. I love our sponsors. Some of them are the same, some are not. But I do love our fans. Just got this message. So I was talking about the governor and his family screwing up and breaking the rule last week of passes. And then all of a sudden, oh, now we got to change the rule for everybody because the governor's family is above the rule. Just got a message that said the governor. How can I phrase this? This fan does not like the governor. Does like the first lady, and tickles me, quote, big time that they did this, breaking the rule. LMAO. I love it. Love it. The governor, by the way, you are welcome, Steve Bullock, to come on this show literally anytime. I've reached out to the office multiple times. Don't be scared. Don't be scared, Steve. I'm just going to ask you questions that the normal media won't ask you because they love you. But come on the show. You know what would be great? You know what we should set up? Can we set up a debate between the two Steves here in the Major Mortgage Man Cave? How freaking cool would that be? I mean, we've got the space. We put one right here and one like right there, and we just let them sit next to each other 6 feet apart and let them debate. That would be awesome. I'm thinking Danes would do it, but I don't think Bullock would. I think he would chicken out. He won't come on the show on phone. Why is he? He's not going to come in the studio. All right. The walk-off. It is brought to you by Cafe Zydeco. They are back from vacation. Just went and saw Miss Lou the other day, and they are ready to go for you. And beignets, breakfast sandwiches, breakfast wraps, not to mention lunches, not to mention the dinners. So good. So good. Cafe Zydeco. Great sponsor of the Jason Walker Show. All right. Thanks to Tim McMahon for joining us. Thanks to Samantha Cassidy. Tomorrow, Nicole Ragoni of the Pac-12 Network. We will recap our NFL picks. We'll make new picks for the weekend. And a whole lot more. Is the Pac-12 going to follow the Big Ten's shoestrings and decide to play? We'll see. We'll talk to Nicole tomorrow. What did we learn today? We learned that if you are the first family of Montana, if you are the governor and his family, you can break a rule set up by the health department in your own damn county, and then they'll change the rule for you and everybody else. That's what we learned today. The governor and his family are above rules. We'll see you tomorrow at 4. JasonWalkerShow.com if you want to watch anything or re-listen to anything. Oh, we're running out of music. Better go. Bye.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.